Hello, welcome to my monthly favorites video. I say that like I've made many before. I haven't. This is my first one. So I don't really know how to do these, but I'm just gonna go through the things that I've been reading, what I've been enjoying, including both tangible, physical items, as well as just things I'm wondering, things I've been hovering in the ephemeral space. And yeah, that's all. Let's get into it. I've read 5 books, which is kind of like, that's pretty good for me. I don't know about other people. I know there's some crazy readers out there, but 5 books is like a pretty decent amount, I must say. So props to myself. At the start of the month, I read The Year of Magical Thinking by Joan Didion. Classic. Love Didion. She's an icon. But I haven't ever read any of her work, and so this was my first Didion experience. I read this with a friend, actually. We had like a little book club session about it. I'm getting into nonfiction, and so reading this was an experience, although a little bit traumatizing and depressing, but in the best way that books are. It follows Didion as she recounts this year of her life where a lot of really terrible things happen in her family. The whole book just follows Didion as she grapples with her grief and her memories. Just a very internal book. It's a lot of Didion reflecting about these experiences in what seems like a very analytical way, but if you dig a little deeper, it seems like she's trying to maintain this semblance of control. Like, you can tell she's kind of holding on to being this analytical, calm, logical figure, but it's obvious that underneath there's a lot of sort of questions and grief and emotions just simmering underneath the surface, and I think Didion did a beautiful, beautiful job of conveying that. I think this was a really beautiful and vulnerable account of the process of grieving and what it's like to have someone just disappear from your life forever in the blink of an instant. Oh, yes, one of my favorite lines from the book is the starting line. I think it's, "Life changes fast, life changes in the instant." And I just think that's a really beautiful line. Hold on, let me pull out my book journal for this, actually. Oh yeah, and I will be talking about my book journal later in the video, because if you know, I am a big advocate for book journals. But more on that later, because we're talking about other books right now. Yeah, I think some major themes that stood out to me are grief, obviously, but also guilt, memory, motherhood, transportation. I don't know if this one makes that much sense, but she talks about moving a lot from places to place, and she also focuses a lot on the locations, so that was something interesting as well. This memoir did a really great job of conveying how losing loved ones is an ordeal that no one has mastered yet, and I really like how Didion captured that sort of vulnerability of the times of grief and all the dark truths and questions that emerge. This month has been the start of my philosophy era. Yeah. I didn't even know where my urge to start getting into philosophy came from. I think I wanted to switch up my typical reading style, and I went to philosophy. I've read 2 philosophy books this month. I read The Myth of Sisyphus by Albert Camus, and I also read The Ethics of Ambiguity by Simone de Beauvoir, both French philosophers. I think I'm just really into the absurdism, existentialism thing right now. There's so much in philosophy as a field. Like, I'm only scraping the top of the barrel right now, but I need to get to it'll take me a while to get to the bottom though, so I'm not worried. First impressions of reading philosophy in general is that it's definitely very dense. Use a lot of really intricate vocabulary and a lot of roundabout sentences and reasonings that you have to squint a little to follow. And I don't necessarily think that that's a terrible thing, because I think that reading should be difficult sometimes in order to actually, learn and grow from it. But it was something to adjust to, for sure, because I'm used to reading more story-based narrative structure instead of this sort of more dense, intense philosophical questions and thoughts instead. So that was a change. These 2 books did a pretty good job of introducing me to both Camus' absurdism and also existentialism for Beauvoir. In both works, they would reference a lot of other philosophers. They would reference a lot of cultural or literary symbols. I know I've talked about both of these books in my past videos, but I think that right now I might be leaning a little bit more towards existentialism. Just maybe. But maybe, is that recency bias? I don't know. I like the idea of creating my own meaning. Yes, I think I resonate a bit more with existentialism right now, but that could be subject change. I guess check out my other videos for more thoughts, but I definitely really enjoyed getting into these books, and I really want to read more philosophy because it's an interesting field and it challenges me. If anyone has recommendations for where I should go off after these two, please, I'm open to any. And then the last two books I have here are a little kind of vastly different from one another. First, I have Notes of a Crocodile, which I've also talked about in my past videos, and Frankenstein, which I talked about in my Get Ready With Me. Notes of a Crocodile is a translated literary fiction about this lesbian college student as she navigates her college years. And Frankenstein, on the other hand, is a gothic classic that delves into elements of horror and sci-fi about this scientist who has this urge to create life out of a inanimate body, and it doesn't go too well if you know anything about Frankenstein. I must say, I really enjoyed Frankenstein. I think that Mary Shelley is just kind of fantastic. I really liked all the parallels with Paradise Lost in Frankenstein. That might just be because I read Paradise Lost, I want to say last year. She directly references Paradise Lost in the book, so it makes sense between Frankenstein and Satan, and also Victor and God in this allegory. It just adds layers to the story. I'm a sucker for like these religious themes in these sort of more sci-fi horror-esque books. And I won't go too much about Notes on a Crocodile because I've talked about it a lot in my other videos, but just, I guess, to sum up my thoughts, I really liked the structure of it, and I think there are some really beautiful moments of self-realization and identity and love that just echo throughout the book. I think overall, I'm trying to read more diversely. Not that I wasn't before, but just I want to read more outside of my comfort zone or outside of topics that I might not normally reach for, hence the philosophy, but also just trying to make sure that I don't read the same thing over and over, like the same genre over and over. Like I'll switch it up with classics or literary fiction or poetry. If you've seen my other videos, I've already talked about this, but I just love having this place where I can, while I'm reading, I can actively put down my thoughts and maybe take down quotes that I like or connect it with other things that I've read before or my own experiences. I really want to be a more mindful reader, and so this was a way for me to make progress on that and to not really just read something and not really retain anything from it, because I feel like that was something that I struggled with in the past. And here, I'll give you like a peek through, but like it's just notes, you know. I don't make it too fancy or anything. Write the name of the book and then I start taking notes. Okay, the thing with this fountain pen is that I actually got it as a gift like 2 years ago. It was from like my parents' friend, but I never used it then because I was like, first of all, I didn't know how to use a fountain pen. That was one thing. Yeah, I never got around to it. Since I've been journaling so much lately, I remembered that I had this fountain pen sitting in my closet, and I think it's like supposed to be a pretty nice one too. So I pulled it out and I read the instructions and the manuals, and I got it to work. Like I had to fill up the ink and stuff inside, and it's been doing me pretty well. Like, it's very easy to write with, a lot easier than I would expect. Although I will say, as someone who is left-handed, I have to be so careful about it not smudging, especially when it's drying. So I just have to like, sometimes I have to hold my hand at like a precarious angle for it to not smudge. So yeah, that's the only thing. But oh yeah, I have the ink here as well. This is the ink I'm using. I think this ink came with the pen. I don't know how long it'll last me. Probably, I'm guessing like at least a while, right? Like this looks like a lot. A fun little endeavor, and it makes journaling feel a little more fun, a little more whimsical. You know, we love adding a little bit of flair into our daily routines. I've never really used any like hair oil or hair serums before, but I think after cutting my hair short, I've just felt an urge to take better care of it, because I feel like short hair, it's harder to not only style but look presentable in. So I've been kind of getting into some hair care stuff, and I've been using this little hair oil by Kim True. I think it's a Chinese brand. Luminous hair oil, and it smells really nice. It smells like some kind of fruit. I don't know which one, but it's just like an indescribable fruity scent. And I use a little bit of it after I shower and I wash my hair. And it's been doing my hair pretty well, I think. It makes it pretty nice and smooth. So, hey, yay hair oiling. And the other thing that I want to talk about was I got this lip tint from Amuse. I'm wearing it today, but it's might be a little faded now. But I wanted something like a little bit pinker. I don't really have that much lip products that I'm using right now. The only other one I have is this one from AOU. It's another Korean brand, but this one is more like warm toned. It's like a lip tint balm kind of thing. And so I just wanted something. I just wanted another option. So I got this. I got it on sale. So it was there was a really good discount. So, hey, we take a good discount. Something else that I've been liking this month is finding old clothing items in my closet that I used to really love, and then falling in love with them again. So there's this one long sleeve shirt that I dug up at the start of the month, and I was like, wait, I used to wear this all the time like a year ago, and I started wearing it again. Yeah, finding just these old clothing items that I used to love a lot, and then kind of setting them aside and taking a break from them and coming back to them is nice. Speaking of like doing closet deep dives, I dug up this sweater, this really cute sweater that I've just never worn before, and I'm planning on taking it with me back to uni because it's so cute, and I'm like, why have I never worn this? So if this is a sign for you to go toss around your closet a little bit, you should, because you never know what you might find in there. That kind of wraps it up for my monthly favorites, my little July catalog. I don't know how I should structure these in the future, because I want to do these for next coming months as well. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing day or night, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!